All right, here we are. It is Tuesday again, the 23rd of August. My goodness, this month is just racing by. I hope you're all having a fabulous month. And this is our How to Lead call, which I really enjoy this call. I love it a lot. And I hope you do too. And there's always different aspects to leadership, as we all know. So something I wanted to bring up first and foremost, with this fabulous image of this light bulb lighting up and then, swinging on that pendulum to light up the other bulbs. I really love that. And I was reading, well, actually I wasn't reading, I was listening this morning just for a little bit. I didn't have a lot of time for this yet, but I came across, as you do on Facebook and so forth, I kind of love how that works. You come across interesting things. And I came across something that was a reading of an audiobook, which is an old book called The Science of Being Great. The Science of Being Great by Wallace Wattles. I'm sure you know of him because he wrote The Science of Getting Rich, that we used a lot with the Bob Proctor work. So we're probably all familiar with that book, but this one, you can find it, and I put it on Facebook, so you can find it right there on my page or in the Nikken Transformational Visionaries group, because I put it there also. And I don't think I put it to Quantum Leap International, but I might do that as well. But sometimes I'll put things to tweets. I'll tweet something through Twitter and it goes to my Facebook page and then it goes on from there if I choose to send it on from there. So I put it on because although 2.5 hours, that's a lot of time. It just intrigued me as I started listening to it. And I was like, ooh, I want to listen to the whole thing, The Science of Being Great. But I wanted to mention a couple of things that I wrote down just from the very, very beginning. So the first thing it said was anyone may become great. Anyone may become great. And I totally know that that's true. So the key is accessing the inherent power that is in every man, every woman, every child. There's an inherent power, and the key to really being great, and so to being a leader in Nikken or in anything you choose to do, is really about connecting with that great power and letting that power move through you. This is really the key to anyone, look, we've looked at the Olympics in the last, couple of weeks. It's been so inspiring. And, you look at these incredibly talented people, but what's so inspiring about it is that they are accessing this sort of almost superhuman power. And then they're developing it and crafting it and working it every single day, right? Mark Phelps, didn't take one day off. He just was constantly in the water every day and proved himself to be really pretty superhuman as a swimmer, the greatest Olympian, the greatest decorated Olympian, 23, I think, gold medals and 28 medals altogether, I think, gold medals with his team and so forth. So he's proving this power that comes through us when we decide to let it. Really, we have to decide to let it. We have to really almost surrender to it. But I don't mean surrender in a passive way. I mean surrender in a very active way, to really surrendering to the greatness that is behind all things and that we are all a part of, just like we're all a ray of sunshine. The sun shines regardless, and we're all rays of it. And the more we connect into the power of the sun, we can bring it forward. So this is what's so exciting in Nikken, is when you see somebody take off and just start leading and just breaking records, going silver, going gold, going platinum, going diamond, going world diamond, it's because they're tapping in to this greatness. Make no mistake about it. It has nothing to do with much of anything else. Yes, you're creating a team. Yes, you're taking these technologies out to the world. Yes, you're inspiring the world through showing them how they can have what they want through the 5 pillars of health. but fundamentally it is this connection with the great power. So a couple of things I wrote down from this, the science of being great, was that genius is omniscience flowing into man. Genius is omniscience flowing into man. Genius is the union of man and God in the acts of the soul. Okay, genius is the union of man and God in the acts of the soul. If you want to be great in Nikken, you have to get into union. Whether you call that spirit or source or nature or God or goddess or whatever you call it, if you want to be great, you have to come into that union and let that omniscience flow into you and through you to others. It's the only way it's going to happen. And this is why miracles happen, because that's when people let go and let God. This is when miracles happen. And this is when miracles happen in Nikken. So great men, and in this book, William Wattles, I don't know when it was written, forever ago, but he uses the word men all the time. So you have to, for us women, we always have to, and it's so annoying, but we always have to go, okay, he means great men and women. He means great human beings, but he's saying the word men. So great men are always greater than their deeds. I want you to think about that. Great men and women are always greater than their deeds. They are in connection with a reserve of power that is without limit. We do not know where the boundary of the mental powers of man is. We do not know if there is a boundary. Now, I'm going to expand on that. I don't think it's just mental power, as in the power of focus, the power of intention. That is right. But it's really a soul power that we finally in our life decide to access. And you know what is so funny is that we often don't decide to access that soul power until we have to. It's making me think of the woman that lifts the car because her child is pinned under the car, right? And you're like, how in the world does that happen? How does a 140-pound woman lift a car that weighs, I don't know how much, but a ton, to get her child out from under it? It's like accessing this inherent power. We won't do it until we sort of have to, or choose to, or really decide that we want to access that genius. And I think genius is a very, very interesting topic. A really interesting topic. And all of you know that when you see somebody in Nikken really taking off and booking it, you can feel that they're accessing something other, or something that's not even other. It's so deep inside of them that they're finally letting it out. You're finally being your true, authentic self. You see, we say be your authentic self, but we don't mean just, okay, I'm Julie and, I have red hair and I love nature and I love dancing and music. And that's not what we're really talking about with the authentic self enough. It's not just that. I mean, it is that. It is that, and just, we make mistakes and we do our best and all that. It's bigger than that. It's much bigger. Well, your authentic self is that power. And that's the thing that why we say, it's so important to make a decision. It's so important to make a decision to go for this thing and to reach your excellence. It has nothing to do with anybody else in that moment. Most people will say, well, I can't go platinum because I don't have the team to do it. Or I don't have the group. My people aren't, performing enough or whatever. But it really has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you and what you decide. Because when you decide and you access that force field and you put it out there, you will find the right people. You will. Because they're going to feel it. And it's very intoxicating in the best sense, right? In the best sense, it's an intoxicating energy, because all of us in life want to not only see others that access that, like we love the Olympics, and we get so excited about the Olympics because we want to see people like just triumph and be victorious, but it's because we want to know that we can do that too. We want to know that it's possible in us. And it is, because we're all made of the same stuff. We're all made of that incredible sun power. And so the key is, are you going to access it? Really? The key is, are you going to let it out? Are you going to come out and play in this life, or pretend that you don't really have it? And, of course, for anyone who knows that everyone has it, your pretense doesn't really fool them at all. They just see that you're pretending, and they're just going to wait until you kind of stop pretending. But are you going to really let that go, that pretense, and just say, you know what? I am this, and I can do this. And then you set the balls into motion. You set the whole movement, and it is like a tour de force. And that's really why leadership is so inspiring. When you have true leadership in the world, I'm not talking about people that pose to be leaders politically or whatever, because, to me, most of that is pretty bogus. I'm talking about true leadership. It is so, so, so captivating. It's so, so, so inspiring and exciting. And, when we access it in ourselves, it makes all of life worth it. I had a great talk with Dave Stolfus the other day, who's an amazing Royal Diamond in Nikken and has made the decision to go Royal Diamond again, like I have. And I really like Dave Stolfus. I've always had tremendous respect for this man. And he's just doing it. And we had the most inspiring conversation together. And just so you know, his Getting Started booklet was the thing I ran with when I first started Nikken. I took that book and I took it as my kind of gospel. And I said, okay, if he says you can go Royal Diamond in 5 years, then why not? Anyone can do it. And so he's written a new sort of Getting Started booklet. You'd have to go to him to get it online, but it's called A Network Marketing Strategy Working in Numbers on a 2-4-6-8 Track to Royal Diamond, the Win Track Workbook. And he's just got this very simple modality that he's using with his people, and he's getting great results, So I want to encourage you to tap in to the people that are making things happen, because, it's not just theoretical. It's making that decision and then really going for it. And he is a very logical man, Dave Stoltz, so he does have that wonderful side to him that we can access. And I printed the entire thing off, it's sitting on my desk, and I haven't had time to read it all yet, but it's 52 pages. And it's beautiful. But fundamentally, he was just so inspiring. He was like, he said, Julie, we haven't even begun with Nikken yet. We haven't, and I so know that. I'm like, we haven't even got Nikken on the map yet. We have so much great work to do. And it is work, but it's play, and it's playful work. And he said, the journey is always the most exciting thing. It's more exciting even than the destination. And I said, oh, I agree totally. The journey is where it's at. The destination is fantastic. You becoming a new platinum, diamond, Royal Diamond, whatever, is a full experience of victory, just like Phelps, throwing his arms up in the air and weeping and saying yes, and I did it. And of course, it's the big I that did it, not the little I. But so the destination is fabulous, but the journey is what teaches us about interconnectedness with all things, with all people, with all beings, with the power itself, and how we're really all one, and how we really create together. And there is no such thing as an individual ego I. So anyway, he and I was so thrilled to talk with him. It's been a long time since I have. And I just called him up and said, I want to just chat with you. And oh my goodness, we must have talked for an hour and a half. And it was just exactly brilliant. And he is brilliant. And, he's so excited about the future with Nikken. And so am I. We haven't scratched the surface, guys. We have a world that really needs our solutions in the 5 pillars of health, not just the body, Not just the mind, but the family, the society, the finances, everything. Our world is crying out for what we have, and we have the answer. And we've just got to find the people that are ready and willing and able to appreciate the fact that we have this amazing solution. So I'm going to whiz through these really fast because we know these slides pretty well by now, and I can't just reiterate the same thing over and over forever because it's just not creative enough for me. So I want to touch in on it and just tell you about, things that kind of, work for some of us as we talk with Mike DiMuccio and the I Can, program, which is fantastic. And I would even say it's the I will, I can and I will do this because the big I chooses to release this power into the world to do good, to be a blessing. And that's really ultimately who we are. We are a blessing to others. We come here to serve. And in order to have the success that you want, you have to go to the higher self. You have to go to the higher self. You can't do it from your personality. I'm sorry, but it won't happen just from your personality. It won't happen from my personality. I have to integrate my personality into a higher self, the highest self that I am, the deepest self that I am, in order to really produce the results that I want to produce for our world, which is to be a really great blessing in the world and make a massive impact in our world in those 5 pillars of health. So understand that you can't do this from your normal everyday consciousness. You've got to go to the higher level. So leading by example, if it's going to be, it's up to me, you have to be at that higher level. I have to be at that higher level in order to impact the world powerfully. Being proactive. Leadership is requiring that you're out in front. You can't just keep holding people's hands and saying, well, when you get there, I'll get there. It doesn't work like that. You've got to lead yourself. I remember the consultant in Japan that was making $10 million a month, and someone asked him how, and he said, well, I take the Mag Creator everywhere I go. So basically take your Mag Duo everywhere you go and get results with it. And my team have to see my back. My team have to see my back. And that's a really tricky concept for us because, of course, it's a paradox. You can't win unless your team win. We know that. But at the same time, your team has got to see your back. They've got to see you sponsoring new people, new seniors and executives, and building your customer base. They got to see it. Because you're showing them that it's doable, right? So you can't just kind of be waiting for them, else you'll never get there. So leadership requires you are out in front, leading with your own activity, being goal-oriented. What are your goals? Do you have monthly goals? Hopefully you have a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 2-year plan, a 1-year plan, and then the next month plan, 6-month plan, and then this next month plan. And what's your plan this month, and what's your intention? What's your intention? 5,000, 10,000 in your personal group? What's your intention for your personal group? Because your personal group is where you have the most influence. Not on your silvers and below much, because once people go silver, they kind of feel like they know everything, and then you don't have much influence with them anymore. But you do have an influence in your personal group, and the most influence you have is sponsoring new people and building your retail, of course. You won't forget that. But in order to build to platinum and diamond, you've got to be building the network. We know that you've got to build the network. So the leader must think bigger than themselves. You always think bigger. Who can I serve? Who can I serve? How many people can I serve? Everybody needs what we've got. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Leadership is always about the people you serve, right? So, but you have to have your goals clear. So I always recommend that people have a goal of 10,000 in their personal group volume every month. 10,000 plus you're building your retail arm of your personal volumes. We're recommending 1,500 PV, qualified PV. But at least 500 to 1,000 to 1,500. But, you're also building your team. It's both things. It's not just one or the other. This is a hybrid model. Both things must happen. They must happen. Showing versus telling is very, very powerful in our business. You know, with Dave Stolfus, his people are getting a whole bunch of M strides, and they're just putting a bunch of M strides into people's shoes and saying, here, see how you feel on this. Tell me what you notice in a few days. Showing versus telling. Now, we've always done this. Every leader in Nikken lends products. I'm telling you, everyone from Dave Johnson down, we all lend product. I talked to Jeff from Blurkham yesterday, and he's lending product to somebody, a chiropractor, who's getting really excited about the business, right? Because it's in the showing and the experience, that somatic experience, that people get what we're talking about with the power of our technologies. It's not in just telling them, hey, you know, magnetism works really fabulously and you're going to love this shake and, you know, this skincare is great. No, it's in showing them. I had a friend over yesterday and I was like, here, try this skincare. Put it on your face, you know. Feel what it feels like. And she was like, oh, I really love that. It's light and it's not like heavy. And you know, and I was like, here, try the eye cream. Here, try the serum. Here, try, you know, just having fun showing versus telling. And then, she took a bunch of products with her and called me. And it was actually the day before yesterday. So yesterday she called me to say, wow, I had this wonderful experience with the cocoon and the this and the that, and I'm loving that water. It's just amazing. I don't know even why I love it so much. I just love it, right? Showing versus telling. Communicating your vision. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Now, this morning I put on Facebook a little thing about, you know, it was from Mike, I think it's Mike Adams, the health ranger, and he says the 7 vaccines that you got to avoid at all costs, or, you know, that you don't need. And I read it, and it you know, and he's very outspoken, Mike Adams, and almost a little too much for me, but on the other hand, I kind of like it. I really appreciate it. It's like Ty Bollinger with the Quest for the Truth About Cancer. He's also really outspoken, a little less so. But basically, he was just saying these vaccines and stuff, they're fundamentally dangerous. And personally, I agree with that. You may not. You may not agree with that. That's okay. But I do. I think they are absolutely toxic, and they are devastating to our population. So it incites in me like I get upset, like I get, whoa, you know. But I think I'm not going to fight those pharmaceuticals. I'm not going to be able to stop pharmaceutical companies doing what they're doing with vaccinations. But what I can do is I can go out there and I can educate people about healthy ways to take care of their health that have no side effects, no negative side effects. Side effects are only good. More energy, more joy, more strength, more power, more vision, more focus, more emotional buoyancy, more physical well-being, strength. You know, it's awesome. So that's where we focus, is on the positive, not the negative. But, you know, sometimes that negative bit of learning, it helps to excite you to go out there and communicate your vision. Because I'm like, why don't people know this? It's awful that people don't know that vaccines have mercury and all kinds of aluminum and all kinds of things in them. And I know you're laughing now. You're saying, she said aluminum. It is. It's an English way of saying aluminum, which I can't say because it's the American way, and it just goes against my everything I learned. But anyway, never mind. Doesn't mean I couldn't adapt, I suppose. So communicating your vision, super, super, super important. Now, not just the vision of, hey, this is going to help your back. It's not enough. Giving them a bigger vision than that. Giving them a bigger vision of your passion. What do you want to do? I want to change the world with bringing in energy medicine. I want to bring the East to the West. I want to change our paradigm of healthcare on our planet because it's killing us. The sick care is killing us, and I am so much a proponent of life and the goodness of life and the preciousness of life that it insults me to see how people are dying. I heard yesterday, a friend of mine I called works with a woman who just lost her mother. Her mother died, and why did the mother die? The mother died because, it broke my heart to hear it, she was putting on some kind of a patch, a pain patch, and she overdid it. She OD'd on the pain patch and she died. Oh my goodness. Guys, we have a world to get out there and help and save from death, from unnatural death, right? I mean, death is a normal thing. We're all going to die. But unnatural death like that, And this, my friend said that the woman was so shocked, the young woman whose mother died, that she literally fell to the floor. And we all know that when you fall to your knees in despair and grief. And I just cried. I was so sad, but also fueled, if you will, to go out there and educate the public about real health. So we got to do it. We got to communicate our vision. And leading with love. This is why, even though those things are devastating and make us upset and sad and angry, we got to go to a higher level. We got to go to the higher self and say, I'm not going to live from the place of anger or upset. I'm going to live from the place of love and joy. And showing love and respect to others is of course, a quintessential aspect of being a human being, a good human being. So showing love and respect, building belief in others. Look, if everybody, this science of being great, anyone may become great. Inherent power is in every man. And our job is to connect with the great power. Genius is omniscience flowing into man. Genius is the union of man and God in the acts of the soul. That means every single one of us can do that. Why wouldn't you have belief in others? They can do it just as well as you can do it. Use the model for success. Nikken's provided that system for achievement. It's very simple. It's not complicated. Don't reinvent it. Just work it. Work the model and celebrate success. We should be our team's greatest champions and cheerleaders, inspiring and encouraging and all of that. And you know what? Be your own greatest champion. Be your own greatest cheerleader. If you don't have somebody who's in your corner being your cheerleader, you got to do it. So do it for yourself as much as do it for other people. Leading with confidence, right? This is a tricky one. I remember reading in the Course in Miracles, which is a book I really love. I remember reading, you don't have to have confidence in yourself. You just have to have confidence in God. And when I read that, it helped me so much because my personality has always struggled with confidence, and maybe yours does too. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I've always had a struggle with that. I don't think I'm good enough to make things happen in the world, to, whatever. And that's partly my upbringing and ballet and people just, yelling at me from the day I was, 3 years old, just kind of saying you can't do it. And so I lost a lot of confidence through ballet. And maybe you lost confidence because your parents said you couldn't do things or whatever. But the key is to access that great power. Do you have confidence in that great power? The power of nature. I had a hawk come flying right by my window the other day in my new house, in my office, which is sort of up in the treetops, and it came almost straight in the window. It was huge, and it was just soaring. This hawk was just soaring. It wasn't even flapping its wings. It was just boom, soaring through. And you know what? It gave me confidence. I felt like that was a blessing. That was a messenger. The hawk is often in Native American lore as the messenger, the visionary, bringing vision. So I don't always think, okay, my little Julie self has to have confidence. It's like I just have to have confidence in the whole beauty of the divine structure of our universe, the patterns, the animals, the trees, the nature, the spirit of everything, the spirit of human beings, and tap into that. So that's why I'm going to qualify that thing there. Lead with confidence. We don't always feel the little self doesn't, because the little self by itself knows it can't do it. It knows it can't make great success. The little self has to acquiesce to the big self, right? And the big self lifts the little self up into it. So you don't get rid of the little self, but you lift it up and says, you know what? Together we can do this. Little you, you can do this. I'm going to lift you up, the bigger, higher self. So starting with you, building self-esteem, building self-efficacy, and thinking positively. And that is critical, creating positive affirmations that can help you develop and maintain the mindset to help you win, and the heart set to help you win, and the soul set to help you win. It's the mind, body, spirit all together, accessing that greatness, that omniscience that's going to have you be in a genius state. And that genius state is what's going to actually have you win. It's actually the thing that's going to bring you to your greatness and your achievements and your success. So we talk a lot about positive affirmations, and I'm not going to go through how we do them because we've done that before. Critical question or two, time for serious reflection. When you look at the different virtues and attributes of leadership that we're chatting about today, which one do you need to work on right now? You know, what is it that has to happen in you? Do you have to surrender to a level that you've never surrendered before? I'm saying surrender to your greatness, surrendering to your victorious nature, not your victim nature. You know, what will you do differently this week as a result of what you've learned today? It's an important question, because all of us are growing. I'm growing along with you, and we're all learning how to be better, how to be more effective in our world, how to make our life count, how to be on purpose, how to really live out our destiny. Because you see, that's the key, is you living on point, you living out your destiny. Why did you come to this world? What did you come to do? What did you come to achieve? You know, and really letting go and letting God happen so that you can be in your highest self to achieve everything you came to do in this life. Don't waste this life. And I say that to myself because sometimes I waste days, you know, just kind of fiddling around, not really being super productive, not really being on point. And we all do that. And sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need a rest. But then it's like, come back on point. Come back to that higher self. Come back to that place of releasing yourself to the greater whole and saying, you know, not my will, but thy will be done. That energy of surrender is so powerful. People have asked me many times, how did you go roll diamonds so quickly, 3 years and 10 months? And I was like, the only thing I can tell you is I surrendered. I fully surrendered. And it was in the surrender that the flow of energy happened, the flow of power happened to help me to find the right people. And the people were brought to me because the vortex of energy you create is so powerful that literally people are sucked in to your vision. They're called to you. Whether they live across the world or down the road, it doesn't matter. They're called to you because you're so clear about what you're up to, and you understand that you're not doing it alone. You're doing it with the allowing of genius to move through you. You're doing it because you're in union with spirit in the acts of the soul. So that's my message for you all today. I'm going to stop our recording. I hope you really enjoyed this, and I will put it onto YouTube as well and upload it to Facebook, and then you'll be able to get it there too. Okay, everybody, thanks a million. Love you all. Let's have a fabulous week, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.